Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros. Going to be getting into some strategy updates, looking at some Bitcoin updates, and I have a clip of Saylor at the end. Make sure to stay tuned for all the information in today's video. Like and subscribe. We have new videos coming out every single day, trying to keep you guys up to date the best that we can. And we have live streams on every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so tune in for those as well. But let's just go ahead and jump into it here today. This is from JPMorgan. They're warning that strategy's rapid rise and aggressive Bitcoin accumulations pose significant risks. Despite not being in the S&P 500, about $50 billion in index fund assets, including $21 billion from passive funds, are tied to the stock. Strategy holds around 592,000 Bitcoin, worth around $61 billion. Yet its $103 billion market cap far exceeds both its Bitcoin holdings and $111 million in quarterly revenue. So this is the same company, JPMorgan Chase, who told their employees back in 2017 or 2018 that if you buy Bitcoin and we find out about it, you're going to be fired from the company. That's back when Bitcoin was $1,000. Bitcoin has 100x since then. This is the old financial system fighting against the new financial system. So take what they say with a grain of salt. They don't understand what's going on here with strategy. Strategy is over collateralized. Bitcoin could trade down to $10,000 and strategy would be very fine. And that's not financial advice, but if you look into strategy, if you've been watching our channel, you'll know that strategy is very fine. And going forward, they are probably going to massively outperform JPMorgan Chase. Getting into the strategy price right now, we're sitting at 370. The market is currently closed. They have 592,100 Bitcoin. So let me know in the comments, guys. Do you think they'll be able to pull it off on Monday? Are they going to be able to hold over 600,000 BTC? I think that's around a $800 million buy. Do you think we have an $800 million buy coming from strategy to put us above 600,000? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's see if anybody gets that right. The MNAV is around 1.87 right now. And we have a very important day coming up on June 30th as the end of Q2. We need Bitcoin to stay above around $97,000 for strategy, wipe out all their past negative earnings and show a positive earning that would qualify for them to enter into the S&P 500. So we need Bitcoin to perform decently, not fall off a cliff for the rest of June. We'll see if that happens or not. But if it does happen, strategy could potentially be included in the S&P in September or December, and that would bring a lot of money to the company. But right now, they're currently rated number 96 on the top market cap companies, and the market cap is around $103 billion. And there's a little bit of a comparison we can do here. Coinbase recently was announced that they'll be added in the S&P 500, and you can see very clear in the chart where that happened. Right here, they were trading around 250, and after that announcement came out that they'll be added into the S&P, since then, they have gone up 22%. So Coinbase, their market cap is not as high as Strategy's. So if Strategy is included in the S&P, they will be deemed a higher allocations because their market cap is higher than Coinbase's. But let's just say we saw a 22% move for Strategy. Where would that put Strategy from current prices at 370? 22% will put us right around $450. So we could definitely see some nice momentum breaking past some resistance levels that we've saw in the past for Strategy if they get included in the S&P sometime for the rest of the year. And what's going to be really interesting to see how the strategy team kind of plays all this out, because the stock price is going to go up, which means the MNAV is going to most likely expand and go up as well. So it's going to come to a point, is Saylor going to tap the MSTR ATM to buy Bitcoin because the MNAV has expanded? Or are they just going to continue with STRD, STRK, and STRF? It's going to be really interesting to see how the team plays that out. But June 30th is a big day. We need Bitcoin to perform for the rest of June, and hopefully we get that. And then looking at the most actively traded U.S. stocks, Strategy's still in the top 20 here with around $4.74 billion of trading volume. And you can see Coinbase is up here at 9.7. They've been performing pretty well. And you have Circle up here at 22.21 billion. The stablecoin bill just passed. Very bullish for Coinbase, very bullish for Circle. Obviously, their market cap has gone bananas and they just IPO'd. But what people don't really understand is the stablecoin act passing is actually good for strategy as well, because with more money going digital, the stablecoin market expanding from where it's at around 250 billion to potentially 3, 4, 5 trillion dollars, it's going to be easier for people to just convert that money directly into Bitcoin. So easier on ramps from Bitcoin. And right now we're seeing a lot of companies coming out, Walmart, Amazon, JPMorgan Chase, saying they're going to be launching their own stablecoin. So stablecoin is definitely bullish for Bitcoin, in my personal opinion. And then from Punter Jeff here, read this. He says, Strategy has a 4-year head start in the largest and the most important land grab of all time, Bitcoin. They have an order of magnitude 12x more land than the next closest pubco, and people are fading the stock. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Choose wisely. Completely agree with Jeff here. Strategy has almost 600,000 BTC. As Bitcoin goes up to $1 million and beyond, Strategy is going to continue to be one of the best performing stocks in the entire world. And with all these other Bitcoin treasury companies that are popping up as well, these companies are still getting in early. And there's a clip of Saylor at the end. So I want you guys to think about some of these Bitcoin treasury companies. If you've been looking at some of the ones popping up, whether it be altbg, metaplanet, H100, K33, any of these Bitcoin treasury companies that you may be looking at, I want you to think about where Bitcoin is going in 20 years. And that's what he talks about in that video and what that could mean for that stock. So we'll check that out at the end here. But let's go ahead and get into some of the updates from the past week. June 16th through the 20th, we saw 51 announcements. There was more than 12,000 Bitcoin bought by the Bitcoin treasury companies. That's around 1,700 Bitcoin a day. Obviously, we know that 450 Bitcoin come out every day from the miners, but a lot of the miners aren't even selling now. They're holding their Bitcoin, so it's probably a little bit lower than 450. So they're buying up more than the daily supply. You have 2 new treasuries that came out. Prenetics started with a cool 187.4 Bitcoin. You have 14 future treasuries that are coming with potential tens of millions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin. You have 18 companies that added Bitcoin. That's where you're getting that 12,000 Bitcoin from. 12 plans to buy more Bitcoin up to around 1.16 billion worth, and 5 additional treasury-related disclosures. So the gold race for Bitcoin is on. We're going to continue to see more and more Bitcoin treasury companies. And the reason why I say that is these companies that are performing this playbook, you look at Metaplanet, you look at the blockchain group, you look at K33, you look at H100, the returns you're seeing from these Bitcoin treasury companies, you're seeing 500% moves within a month or a week. They're the new altcoins. So people are going to go down the risk curve and speculate on all these companies, which is going to cause more companies to pop up because the new companies are performing so well. So we're going to see new companies come out and say, hey, we're going to adopt a Bitcoin treasury strategy. The only thing that you really have to pay attention to is the risk management. Is the team actually going to say what they're doing? And can you trust the team, basically? If they can perform the Saylor strategy, they should be fine because they're buying the best asset in the world. But it's, can you actually trust the company? Maybe they just raise the stock up and they end up selling all the Bitcoin and enrich themselves. So you don't know if that could happen. That's something you have to watch out for. And then you have Bitcoin total whale holdings and monthly percent change. So Bitcoin whales right now are buying a massive amount of BTC. As Bitcoin has come down, you have whales who are accumulating. And then you have Bitcoin versus the M2 money supply. So if this trend continues to hold true, we may see a blast off in Bitcoin for the rest of the year, potentially all the way up to around $140,000. That'd be pretty massive if we saw that for the rest of the year. So that's something to watch out for. The M2 has been exploding as of late. And then this is really interesting. Balaji posted this over on Twitter. It's the Americans' perceptions of the best long-term investments. And if you look at the best long-term investment, people still believe real estate. at a 37 percentile. Gold is up here at a 23 percentile. Stocks are up here at 16%. Savings accounts 13. Bonds 5. And then crypto is below all that. So Bitcoin is below basically any other investment right now. So the average American does not understand the value of BTC. They don't understand where it's going, where it's headed. And that's an advantage that you have as somebody who is in the Bitcoin space. So make sure to take advantage and buy more BTC. Okay, so now I want to get into the clip from Saylor. This was from a podcast he did a while ago on Natalie Brunell's channel. But think about this in your own life. He gives individual advice, but also think of what he's saying in terms of what some of these Bitcoin treasury strategy companies are doing and what that could mean for them. So let's go ahead and check out this clip. If you found any value, make sure to hit that like button. Appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. My name's Aaron. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go ahead and play a clip here.
Said that if you want to 10x your money, buy Bitcoin. If you want to 100x your money, buy Bitcoin with someone else's money. And if you want to 1000x your money, then buy Bitcoin with someone else's money and lever it. But for the average person watching who's probably a wage earner and not a business leader, what do you think is the best way to 100x your money? Can you still do it with Bitcoin, and what types of strategies can be deployed?
I think the best way to get superior returns, 100x type returns, if you're an individual, would be you keep your day job, and so you maximize the cash flow you generate via whatever your profession is. You're responsible on your expenditures. You have to think, in the year 2045, I think a Bitcoin's worth $13 million. So every Bitcoin that you don't buy is a $13 million cost. That Ferrari that you're going to buy is going to cost you like 6 Bitcoin. And so it's going to be a $100 million Ferrari, right? If you look out 20 years. So you have to keep your job, unless you're insanely rich, don't splurge on the Ferrari. Buy the 6 Bitcoin instead. And with regard to leverage, the intelligent leverage for the individual is generally long-dated, mid-dated mortgage debt. So if I have any kind of property, if I have a house, I would put a long mortgage on it, a 10-year mortgage, a 15 to 20-year mortgage on it, especially a conforming loan, and then I would roll it into Bitcoin. Because mortgage debt is not mark to market. It's against an asset which is fairly stable. Normally the interest rates are somewhat subsidized by a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac program or a government program. So it's the cheapest form of permanent capital that someone can get. So, I give you what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't quit your job. You shouldn't splurge on sports cars you can't afford. Don't buy a yacht because it's obscenely expensive, and don't pay off your mortgages. Don't get debt free.